What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Pitts. Pitt Sports Zone, Bowie TV, coming to you live. Listen, it's going down all things HBCUs. And who else better to start it off with them Bowie State Bulldogs? We coming to you, Bowie State Bulldogs, total access. We got the Morgan State Bears. Listen, all HBCUs information, all HBCU news, sporting events, updates. You get it live here with Pitt Sports Zone, Bowie TV, Comcast Channel 77, Verizon Channel 11 is going down. Don't you miss a beat.
Listen, it's only the beginning because it's early still. And we're gonna be here all day.
All day.
What's going on, everybody? What's going on? Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Pitts. Pitts and Pitt Sports Talk Radio, Pitt Sports Zone, Bowie TV, coming to you live once again. Listen, this guest don't need no announcement. Coach Damon Wilson, Morgan State University, head football coach of the Bears. How you doing today, Coach?
I'm doing good, brother. How about yourself?
I'm doing amazing, man. Thank you again for taking this time to sit with me, man.
Indeed.
Before we move to spring ball, I want to kind of, throw some things out there from last year. Last year, you guys were 500 in the MEAC, but you guys, you had some defensive accolades that came through with Elijah Williams. Elijah was he was a consensus All-American. He was, I believe, the MEAC Defensive Player of the Year. Then you had the Rookie of the Year, and my man Jason Collins Jr., running back. Then last year, you guys were 9th in FCS in total defense. What do those mean? Do those accolades mean anything from a head coaching perspective? I mean, I know it doesn't. I know we talk wins and losses, but when it comes from the success that your team is able to have as a group defensively, but then also individually, how much of that does that mean to you as a head coach?
It means a lot. It's part of the overall, makeup of the team and overall, goals. We have ultimate team goals, of course, but a part of achieving some of those team goals, you're going to get some individual accolades. And, those are good for those guys. But Jason Collins deserved to be Rookie of the Year. Elijah Williams deserved to be the Defensive Player of the Year. We had the best team record in over 10 years at the university. So, headed in the right direction. And when you get more guys receiving personal accolades or individual accolades, you probably have a better overall win-loss record as well. So the more guys that we can get on those individual accolade lists, that'll help us as a ball club as well.
Last year, you had 3 first-team All-MEAC, and Elijah, Malik Leatherberry, and I'd never say his name, Karvansky.
That's it.
and my man Jay Jaron, defensive back. So first team, second team, those defensive, accolades, the exposure, and I think consistently for the last couple of years defensively, they have always ranked in the high in the FCS in regards whether it was sacks, whether it was takeaways, or just in general overall total defense. Which speaks volumes and something that you said, the best record in quite a while. But you guys have, since you've been there each year, you've taken another stride, you've taken another step. How does that feel, being your third year?
It feels good. Once again, you want to make sure you're going in the right direction. Believe me, I've gone through this process before, and I understand there are no shortcuts, to this process. And like you said, we made some strides last year by finishing 500 overall and having another winning MEAC record. That's part of the process. But at the end of the day, you have to beat the teams that's been at the top of the conference. And right now, that's been South Carolina State and North Carolina Central. So, we got to find a way to beat everybody in the conference, but especially those two teams as they've been pretty much, running it for the last few years.
Yes, sir. And lastly, the last one I want to throw out there is you hit 100th career win, and you did it in a dominating fashion, 41-0 over Lincoln. Congratulations on that. Much to be commended and deserved, man. How did you feel? Were there any emotions, or it was just another day in the office?
No, I'm not going to lie to you. That's a major accomplishment, and I did not know uh, the history behind it until after we achieved that award. I had a lot of good players, a lot of good coaches over the years to help me get to this point or help us get to this point. But if you do some research and you look at how many coaches have surpassed 100 wins, that list is really short. It's very short for a number of reasons, I'm sure. So I'm very fortunate to be one of a few that's over 100 wins, whether it's FCS football, HBCU football, whatever it may be. I'm really excited to have accomplished that, and I'm thankful for the guys that's played for me over the years, as well as the coaching staff and other support staff that's played the role into accomplishing such a great accomplishment.
Absolutely, and like I said, well deserved. Well deserved. Like any profession coach, you take some lumps with the wins and some bruises. This year, going into spring training or spring football practices, were there any changes in the coaching staff this year going into this year?
No, we were able to pretty much retain our coaches, which is a good thing. I know continuity is really important. So the coordinators and position coaches are pretty much everybody's coming back from this past season, which, like I said, which is a really good thing. Coach Wright, our offensive coordinator, he just finished his full year in the program, so he has his both feet on the ground solid now, and the guys have had an opportunity to really embrace what we're trying to do offensively. And Coach Toole, he'll be back as the D coordinator, and Coach Sport, Ben Hurl, will continue to run our special teams.
When we talk about the players and we go over to the player side, and there's so many moving parts when it comes to the players, especially because of the transfer portal. And it seems like it's an unlimited pool that a lot of student athletes, rightfully or wrongfully so, depending on their situation. You signed 29 additional players, I believe, this year, and in addition to, was there a high turnover rate in players in regards to graduation or transfer portal? And did you focus on a particular position or side of the ball, or did you have a focal point for a position or a side of the ball when it came to the players?
Well, yes, we had just 24 guys graduated from the program mid-year. So that gave us the opportunity or the ability to sign 19 mid-year guys. Then we signed 10 guys in the traditional signing period in February. But as far as our need, we're losing Elijah Williams, so we had to bring in a couple guys to hopefully replace him. We did lose one guy to the transfer portal that played for us a good bit of time defensively, and that's Jason Pavard. He transferred to UVA, so we wished him well and what his future may hold. But at the end of the day, everyone else is returning. We had some guys that had some other opportunities, but we had conversations, and it made sense for them to stay put and continue to do what we're doing at Morgan, and which we're fortunate to retain those guys in the program. But we understand the new landscape of college football or college athletics, and we want to make sure that we want to have the guys in the program that want to be in the program, and also when we have to make those decisions, make some tough decisions that works for everybody, works for the student athlete as well as work for Morgan State and Morgan State football. So, so we have those conversations. We understand that's just the time frame that we're in now. And, so we embrace it, and we're going to continue to push forward.
When you talk about going into spring football practices, what is your vision or goal when it comes to spring practices?
The biggest thing for me as a head coach, you want to stay healthy. That's really important for us. But we sit down as a staff and we write down, hey, 3 things offensively, 3 things special teams, and a few things that we just want to come out and accomplish as a whole. The biggest thing, we want to compete. We want to compete in everything that we do this spring. We want to make sure that we are communicating in all phases of the game. We want to make sure that we're physical. I think in order to get accomplished what we're trying to get accomplished, we must be a more physical football team. So those are some of the things that we're focusing on this spring, is just competing, being physical, being disciplined. I think we did a pretty good job with the penalties and that sort of thing last year. but also improving our situational awareness on the football field is something that we're looking to tap into. Situational football and understanding how each situation plays a part in the overall outcome of the game. So, like, once again, we've been doing some things differently this winter workout with developing teams to hold these guys accountable, as well as for those guys to compete and build better relationships amongst the ball club. Not that your defensive backs are together, but make sure the defensive backs are interacting with the offensive line and building those relationships and our community service involvement. And I think all of those things help to build a successful program.
Absolutely. When you talk about leadership and you talk about the winter programs, do you look or lean on some of your returning veterans to kind of help set the tone and lead the Bear way in which the standard of which you expect them to perform? Do you lean on some of those veterans to kind of pitch in, to step up and speak up in certain moments?
We have to. I mean, it's not really about what we say as coaches. At the end of the day, I think player-led teams are the way you win championships, because we only have a certain number of hours that we're going to be around our student athletes by NCAA rules. But those guys are going to spend a lot more time together off the playing field. So we need more people in the program just relaying our message and holding guys accountable to the message and the way we do things at Morgan. And when you have that, you have the opportunity for success, because now you've built coaches within the program amongst the players. And that's really when it gets fun. That's really when it's good. I think we made some major strides this offseason. Like I said, with the guys that we signed mid-year and the guys that are returning to the program, I saw a different group in the weight room. I saw a different group competing on the field. We just received our strength and conditioning numbers last week, and this is the strongest team based upon winter workout numbers that's been at Morgan in the last 5 or 6 years, from my understanding, based upon the strength and conditioning coaches' notes. So that's good. That's good. Yeah. So once again, we're headed in the right direction. Now we just have to transfer that weight room onto the football field and then let things fall where they may.
Mental preparation and repetition is everything.
Yes, indeed.
When it comes to the spring game, there seems to be a lot of conversation surrounding it, right? A couple other D1 schools have either opted out of their spring game or they've substituted it for 7-on-7 or position battles. What's your take on that?
Well, we want to have our traditional spring game on the 17th of April. Once again, we understand what's going on out here in college, in the college football landscape now, and I understand why those coaches made the decisions they've made. But at the end of the day, we want to compete. And, we want to make sure that we're doing everything in our power to have our student athletes that we want at Morgan, make them continue to feel at home and give them everything they need at Morgan so they don't look for other things. Sometimes as 18, 19-year-olds, you're always looking for the new shiny toy, but the new shiny toy may not be the best thing for you with regards to your overall development. And so we want to make sure we continue to develop the guys, but also provide them with the necessary resources that they need to be successful. Then you look at a guy like Elijah Williams, a guy that probably had an opportunity to leave. I know the last 3 years at Morgan, and he decided to stick it out. And you're seeing some of the things that he's going to benefit from. He went out to the HBCU Legacy Bowl to show it up. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to him to have a very successful pro day. But I've received a number of phone calls from NFL scouts and everything else. So he's a guy that's graduated from the program, but guys will have an opportunity to play at his highest level, and he did all of that right there at Morgan State University. So if you look at the guys before you and so to see the opportunities that they've had, and you want to have a chance, this is where you want to be. In 2 years prior, we've had 5 guys sign NFL contracts. So, this is our 3rd year. I anticipate another 2 or 3 guys this year that's going to have an opportunity to play on Sundays. Now, it's about what you do with those opportunities, but it's not too many teams that can say 28 out of 32 NFL teams have come to practice and/or games to see their student athletes practice and/or compete. So you're going to have an opportunity at Morgan State. It's about taking advantage of it.
Absolutely. And shout out to my man Elijah. He also, another accolade for him was he surpassed and he became Morgan State's all-time sack leader.
That's major. That is major. I don't know people understand how major that is. Morgan State and defense. Morgan State's defense has been good for years, and there's a lot of top athletes have come through Morgan State on the defensive side of the ball, and for him to surpass that mark this year, that's a major accomplishment.
Yes, sir. When you talk about the spring game, do you feel that it's monotonous for you to? I always felt that iron sharpens iron, right? Every single day, each other's strengths and each other's weaknesses, and it's the team and it's the camaraderie that you have amongst each other that you're supposed to keep pressing those weaknesses. We sharpen our strengths, but we press the weaknesses. Do you think it's monotonous for spring games to be played against each other still?
No, it's not. You only have 15 days out there, and you really only in equipment, maybe full equipment, maybe I think it's 8 to 10 times in full equipment. So no, I don't think it is, and I think it gives us an opportunity to sharpen up our skill set. And if it's, hey, we want to be the best cover 3 team in FCS, it gives us an opportunity to do that. We always like competing against other opponents, but and I know that's the latest thing right now, talking about possibly expanding that. That's been going on for years at the Division II level. So it's nothing new in the college football. It just hasn't trickled down to the FCS or FBS yet. But the Division II has an opportunity to compete against other schools during that 15-day window when they haven't practiced. But if something that trickles down, we'll take advantage of it for sure. But also, I don't think it's. I think we can get a lot of just practicing against each other as well.
And you kind of alluded to the next question I was going to ask you. If the NCAA does change that rule in regards to teams practicing other universities, are you open for that?
Oh, indeed. I mean, we have a number of universities right in our backyard that I think we can help each other out. I have great relationships with pretty much every coach in the area, and if it's something, whether it's a Division II school or FCS or FBS school, we definitely can link up in the spring and compete and try to get better, over the course of that time frame for sure.
Absolutely. I want to take a quick pause, and on Instagram we have a comment by A_5 running back Coach Suitland Rams. He says, Coach Wilson, great leader, great coach, great mentor, great man. I second those statements. How does that feel when you hear those words from?
That's my guy Keith Brown. Sound like my guy Keith Brown. Keith, it feels great, and that's why you get into the business. You want to have an opportunity to impact young folks' lives, and that's something that I really pride myself on, and something that the staffs I've been a part of, we've had a great. We had a great success in doing those things. And when those guys reach back out, or when you get that text message or that phone call from someone you maybe coached 10 or 15 years ago, it means the world to you, because once a student athlete finishes at your program, they don't have to call you again. They don't have to talk to you again. You're no longer their coach. But, when they get to being 32, 35 years old and they still want to reach out to the old ball coach, that's a good thing, man. So that means you're doing things the right way. And Keith was a hell of a football player for us at Bowie.
And Coach, just from I've never had the opportunity, even though, you played at the Ops, over at Suitland, I'm a Largo Lion, Coach Wade ended up leaving, going over there too. But, when you talk about, from me, on my perspective, it's like, I've never played under you, but I can only imagine, like, I'm 43, but there's moments when I'll be out there practicing. I'm like, I swear I ain't use no eligibility, and I swear I can go ahead and lace it up and go out there with them. Like that encouragement, the enthusiasm, the passion, the compassion, the love, the desire, and not only that, you treat them as young men, right? You give them the rope and you give them the tools of success, and it's up to them. Now, they're like a parent would. Anytime their kids stumble, you definitely going to be there to fall, but you let them pick themselves up and you help guide them along the way. I appreciate that from the outside most, because I can only imagine what it's like to be on a day-to-day basis, under your tutelage and your leadership, what that means, and how that feels, and why those relationships keep going once students, athletes have graduated and gone on in their lives.
No, I appreciate that. I'm only doing what was done for me. I had a great leader and role model in my house every day. That was my first coach. That was my dad. So my dad and my uncle, they pretty much laid the foundation down for me. And, so I was learning at a young age how to, quote unquote, lead young men or lead programs. And, So I'm just doing what was done for me. And I've had great Boys and Girls Club coaches, high school coaches, and college coaches. And I worked with some great head coaches and assistant coaches. So, I'm trying to just do my part and make sure that we leave it better than what we found it,
Absolutely. One of the comments from Gerard Hines, Symphony of Souls, Bowie State. He said, Bogan State football. I kind of like that. That Bogan, it's the BOW-GAN State football. Hey, you know what? I can see a hoodie with Bogan, with you on your Bowie headset, with you in the Morgan headset. Hey, I think we might need to trade that, Gerard. Since you said it on my platform, it's only right that I get ad for that. And lastly, and one last comment before we move forward was from D. Wolt, Morgan State. Shout out! I see D. Wolt everywhere. I seen him at the CIAA tournament. I seen him at Bowie. I seen him at Morgan. But one thing I appreciate from him, and I don't even know him personally, I appreciate the appreciation that he gives me. The love that he gives me. Anytime he sees me, he's like, good. Like the appreciation that he understands, like what my objective is. And, he's definitely been gravitating and open in that regard. He said the offense should finally have the personnel to compete and win a championship. What are you most excited about regarding to the offensive side of the ball?
The quarterback room, man. I think this is one of the most competitive rooms, if you will, and that we've had. We have 6 guys in there that are really trying to fight each other off for the top spot, but they also at the same time are supporting one another, which is great to see. So I'm excited to see these guys compete this spring. We have some experience in that room now, and I think we were able to also beef up the offensive line a little bit. We brought a couple mid-year guys in that's played some college football and some guys that really want to be successful. So I'm excited to see these guys compete in the spring. And once again, just having an opportunity to be in the offense for a year, been in offense for a year, and those guys understand what we're asking of them. And we did make some changes offensive side. It's Coach Tyree Reed, who was the receiver coach. He's moved now to the quarterback coach, and Coach Wright, our offensive coordinator. Like I said, he's gonna float a little bit and kind of have spent some time in every room, which is good. And Coach Reed, he was my offensive coordinator as well as quarterback coach when we were at Bowie, so he has an opportunity to kind of get back into that room and give us an opportunity to get another set of eyes on those guys in their development.
So it's funny you say that, because I was just about to pivot there and say, not only does the offensive coordinator get, a full year under his feet, but also last year's wide receiver coach, which now you said is now going to be the quarterback's coach, and Tyree Reed, they both now have a year together under their belts, which also, will pave the way for, I think, the success that we all know and see, because I'm at practices and I see the formula. I see the success. I see what they're capable of. And, what happens on the practice field sometimes don't transpire to game field, but it's learning process, right? Everyone's learning. It's a new process. So I'm excited for that. And especially, with Coach Tyree going to quarterbacks, I think that's even more exciting. When he moves to quarterback coach, who takes over receivers?
Coach Jimmy Johnson. Coach Johnson, who's already on the staff. Coach Johnson has been coaching for roughly about 30 years now. He played 10 years in the NFL. He's a guy that's coordinated in the NFL, XFL. He's coordinated at college level, so he's been around for years. He's a Howard University graduate, but he's a guy that he and we worked together at Texas Southern. He's coached in every room on the offensive side of the ball. So he's a guy that has a wealth of knowledge that he's going to, share with our wide receiver group. And we graduated 7 receivers. So that whole room is entirely different. That's a different room. So they're all learning together, which is great. But we do have 2 or 3 guys that's returning that's played a good bit of time for us.
Absolutely. Junior Day is April 5th and the 12th. Can you shed a little more information on that and how individuals can register?
Yes, everything is on, on social media and or on the website. And what it does, it gives us an opportunity to get folks on our campus. A lot of times people have not touched campus, have not touched Morgan State campus. So we just want to expand the opportunities or create the opportunities for folks to come on our campus. We have a very beautiful campus, and our football facility is wonderful as well. And we want those student athletes to experience what Morgan State football is all about. But at the same time, tour our academic facilities, meet the coaches, and see if it's a place they want to further their education and place for college football. I think we have a lot of good things going on at the National Treasure, and it's about just giving folks the opportunity to come on campus and see it.
Absolutely, I totally agree. Lastly, wanted to talk about your camps, to save the dates that's coming out. Your big man camp in the 7-on-7 tournament is June 21st, and then the one-day high school, I think, prospect camp is on June 28th.
Right.
Those save the dates. When can we look for that information as well? Would those be, again, like you said, I guess, on the website and on the Instagram page?
Definitely. We just released the camp registration yesterday. So the registration link is live on the website as well as on our social media outlets. The 7-on-7, we will have roughly, I think, 16 to 18 teams. We'll top it off there and try to get the best 16 to 18 teams in this area, as well as Virginia and Pennsylvania, and as far up as New York. They'll come in and compete on campus. We've been having some very successful, tough fought games during that 7-on-7 tournament with some top-notch high school programs. So we're really excited to build upon that, as well as to get those guys up for that prospect camp. It's really important for us to see these guys compete in person. You can watch huddle film all day long, but when you get a guy on your campus and see him compete in person, that helps you a lot, and see if he's coachable, see if he can, take different techniques that you may be showing and apply them right away. So it's important for the guys to get out and to attend these camps.
Absolutely. Is there a plan to find an additional opponent for the 2025 schedule?
Yes. We released an 11 game schedule. We're still going through conversations with one team or one university, I should say, to hopefully solidify that 12th game. But the schedule was just released, I want to say yesterday. And we're looking to finalize that 12th game, hopefully within this next week or so.
Well, Coach, I appreciate your time as usual. I look forward to spring ball. I'll be out there with you guys. Thank you again for taking this time and this moment to sit with us and listen. Set the track. Let's go Bears.
Let's go. Once again, I appreciate you, man. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yes, sir. Y'all know what it is. It's your boy Pitts from Pitts and Point Sports Talk Radio, Pitt Sports Zone, Bowie TV. Shout out to my sponsor, Staples and Smart Water. Listen, if you're looking for a partner, come partner with your boy. Get on what you need. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all Thursday. Football's in. I've been smelling the grass for a minute. Time to turn up. Enjoy y'all night.